Welcome to the Real Authority. Toy Story 5 wasn't exactly an announcement that I really wanted, and we're going to talk about the quality of the movie in a minute, but I really did feel that beforehand, the announcements and the marketing just made it seem like it was going to be a desperate cash grab. For gosh sakes, we already have an announcement and a release date for Coco 2. Where can they possibly go with that? Plus, I might as well finish my discussion on the other Toy Story movies. Fantastic, 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 and fantastic. And I've seen them numerous times in Toy Story 3, that iconic scene where they're in the pit. That actually made me cry. You know how good a movie you have to be in order to make me cry? Turns out Toy Story 3, because that was actually the first time I ever cried at a movie, I think. I'm not saying that as like, oh man, I'm just a little bit hard to cry at something, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm going on a bit of a tangent. And that movie ended phenomenally, which basically made Toy Story 4 a bit of a hard sell, and it's kind of the same thing with Toy Story 5. And yet they found a way to justify its own existence and end it in the perfect way. You see what I mean? Like, the Toy Story franchise really doesn't have a stop sign, or it's very hard for them to pump the brakes even when there's the perfect opportunity to stop. I don't know, I guess I was just afraid that they would drive right into a dead end, plus Lightyear was Do you even remember Lightyear? Have you even seen Lightyear? Don't worry, it's just a spin-off and thankfully not canon. Older Buzz is Zurg. No, Zurg is Buzz's father, idiots. I guess getting into it now, the premise is kind of a bit of a different direction for the Toy Story franchise. Granted, Woody basically split from the gang, so this time we're focusing on the remainder of the characters, namely Buzz Lightyear and Jessie. As Bonnie gets a lily pad device, which is basically this tablet which is able to do a lot of things. Not exactly AI, but I mean, technology made AI, but the point still remains. It causes Bonnie to play less and less with her toys and get more addicted with the lily pad. So it's up to the gang and Woody to basically find a way to resolve this issue and get played again, or suffer into going storage or worse. Naming the positives that transfer over from the previous movies, animation's great. Pixar usually has it in them to make a fantastically animated movie. In fact, in a lot of moments, they do a bit of a Spider-Verse thing. I mean, you saw it in the trailer, like a different animation style. I was very nervous given the first trailer I actually reviewed, Toy Story 5 isn't looking good. That was not directed at the animation. I'm just saying I didn't know how the narrative would justify its own existence. I'll get to that in a minute, but I do feel that new style, while different from the other Toy Story movies, were actually quite a fun addition and quite a unique way to portray the playtime. The other movies did it better, but this one had its own unique identity. It doesn't fully indulge in the Spider-Verse thing. It definitely does feel as consistent as you would hope it to be, even though it does feel a bit different. Maybe it's because we haven't gotten a Toy Story movie in 7 years. That could just be me too, but yeah, the animation's great. Of course, the voice acting was going to be phenomenal. I mean, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen basically are Woody and Buzz Lightyear, and I do feel like their banter, as well as their energy and enigmatic characters, I guess. I don't know, it's Woody and Buzz Lightyear. They're alive and well here, and they absolutely are great. Especially Tim Allen, who, I mean, the marketing as well as the trailers basically revealed there's going to be tons of them, tons of Buzz Lightyears. Don't know what that was, but I mean, thankfully they justify their own existence. I didn't say the movie yet, but yeah, they were great, although I feel like the standouts are really Joan Cusack as Jessie. This is more her story. Like, Woody's definitely here and he's definitely involved, but Jessie's kind of the new main character, which I actually do respect. Because where else is there to go with Woody? Like, he found his own identity and not technically Bonnie's toy anymore. So it's up to her to really carry this movie, and I do feel the character development she gets, plus the voice acting in general, really do carry it. Scene Stiller, though, Conan O'Brien as Smarty Pants, like, I wasn't expecting him to work as well as he did, but he just did a tremendous job. I mean, Conan's known for being a very talented comedian, so much so that the Oscars basically brought him in, and he was literally carrying the presentation. Not the awards themselves, obviously those are going to be gold, but Conan O'Brien as the host was really a match made in heaven. I mean, that opening sequence from this year's Oscars, phenomenal. So yeah, Conan O'Brien really just fits this role like a glove, and he's absolutely the standout of the movie in terms of new characters, I guess. Now getting to the juicy stuff, the screenplay from Andrew Stanton and Kenna Harris. Like, Stanton and maybe Harris, I don't exactly know, but Stan has been involved with this franchise from the beginning, but I really was nervous to see how he would do. I mean, he's an animation legend, but he's also done live action fare. Do any of you even remember In the Blink of an Eye? I heard it was bad, but I was already not looking forward to it before I heard it was bad. But given his roots in the Toy Story franchise, it gave me a slight amount of optimism, even though I wasn't exactly like looking forward to seeing how this story would continue. Woody basically parted ways with the toy gang, and I was just like, no, no, don't do Toy Story 5. You're gonna ruin it. Come on, stop, stop. Well, I'm happy to say, given the fact that Jesse's the main character and Woody's more or less a side character, they actually do find a way to justify his inclusion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that Woody didn't enter the picture in terms of where he fits into the story until like later in development. And you can definitely tell that Woody wasn't exactly the central focus, which I do understand. I was just very nervous that having Woody being a side character instead of the central character to this iconic franchise where Woody is pretty handily the main character, I felt that would be a bit of a risk not worth taking, but it turns out it was actually a risk worth taking. It really does work. And the commentary on technology versus toys, like it doesn't go technology bad, toys good. Come on, kids, stop being addicts. Like it definitely does try to dissect the positives as well as the negatives with the technology. Like I feel Lilypad wasn't exactly a one-sided character. Great performance from Greta Lee. She was more nuanced, and she's definitely like the primary antagonist of the movie, but the movie develops her in a way in which it just surprisingly worked. And that plot really does justify this movie overall because even though the other Toy Story movies, they were mainly about the toys, you do feel the threat of technology in terms of the toys. Like these movies do a really great job at making you empathize with the characters who are toys. This movie continues to do that, but also just portrays technology as this actual threat, but in a way where it's not like generic technology bad. Could have easily done that. I mean, I'm recording this on a phone. You think I was going to get a Kodak camera in order to record this? I'm guilty of being a phone addict myself. Let's be real here. You probably are too. I mean, aside from me, you probably watch other YouTube channels like Jack's Films. But yeah, this really portrayed it in an effective manner to the point where I'm not sure if I could say anything else due to spoilers. I'm just saying it surprisingly worked. So yeah, the story's great. The narrative is strong. If I were to give any nitpicks, maybe it takes a while to really get to it. Not to say that it's bad by any means. It's still really good. Although I did notice it needed time to actually get going. Maybe that's because I was like, Toy Story 4 was the perfect ending. What the hell are you doing? But in terms of actual complaints, this complaint really doesn't affect the movie overall. Like, I still feel it's technically sound and the animation's great. With that said, I did notice a lot of shaky cam. Not like that, but in terms of like staying steady, there's a lot of moments which, well, actually, not a lot of moments. Like the entire movie doesn't really stay focused on one shot. It kind of, I don't know, has the camera shake a little bit, like go left, go right a bit. Like that's each and every shot. And I just have never seen the Toy Story franchise really do that. You might not notice it, but as a film buff, as well as a guy who kind of respects the technical aspects of a movie instead of saying movie good because it's good. I'm a movie reviewer, but not a critic. But sometimes I notice the little things, and I really do feel every shot doesn't really like center itself, which is by no means a problem, but it's hard to like ignore once you notice it because you notice most of the shots in the movie kind of have a bit of that. And the Toy Story franchise has really like remained consistent in terms of steadiness. So to see this jolt of, I don't know, awkwardness kind of, well, I mean, it is awkward. But it doesn't kill the movie for me. I'm just letting you know that I did notice that. If you didn't notice that, that's cool. If you can never watch this movie again without realizing this, I'm sorry. So I guess the final verdict on Toy Story 5, it surprisingly was great. And it just surprisingly worked. Like, what seemed like a cash grab really did justify its own existence. The creative team that worked on this really painted something that I was not exactly expecting to be good. Like, early reactions as well as some of the glowing reviews, because I usually avoid review embargoes whenever possible. But like Hopper's, by the way, this is not as good as Hopper's, the reviews were so glowing that I unfortunately couldn't avoid it. And even then, the pessimist in me was just like, this is probably not going to work. It might be good, but it's not going to be a masterpiece. And while this might be my least favorite, or maybe second least favorite of the Toy Story franchise, it's still somehow just an entertaining and solid and consistent watch. And a shockingly worthy addition to the Toy Story franchise. So like the other movies, somehow the real authority approves. 10 out of 10. I'm probably going to be this pessimistic for Toy Story 6, and it definitely doesn't have that oomph that the endings of 3 and 4 had. But yeah, I'm just left stunned that it worked so well. Not really much else to say aside from make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, comment your thoughts on the movie, and definitely give me your ranking of the Toy Story movies. If you want to include Lightyear, sure. I'm not really sure what else to say, just the surprises of summer so far. Alright, peace.